Since I finished talking about the core members of Shadow Garden, I still have a few more characters I wanted to highlight in the series, like Princess Rose Oriana, who surprisingly has been featured quite often throughout the Eminence in Shadow, and I personally found her journey as a character to be quite intriguing. That's why in today's video I wanted to give her a proper character breakdown. As usual, I'll be discussing some of her character story while also taking a look at her powers and abilities. Also, I'll be covering information from the light novel, so here's a spoiler warning just in case, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this in the future. Now, before I get into Rose's character, a bit of history about the Oriana Kingdom. Long ago, the ancient weapon known as Black Rose was somehow activated by accident, and it summoned countless magical beasts that ravaged the country. During that time, the Cult of Diablos had discovered a method to control the weapon, and thanks to them, the nation was saved from annihilation. As a result, they will fall under the control of the cult, and ever since then, the cult promoted the idea of appreciating art and culture while discriminating swordsmanship to prevent any future uprising. That's why the Oriana Kingdom eventually became renowned for its artistic and cultural heritage. Additionally, the cult also demanded that the royal family had to give up their children if they were found to possess blood related to the human hero so the cult can study them. However, when King Raphael Oriana came into power, he had plotted to break away from the cult, but his actions were discovered, so he was eventually turned into a mindless puppet. But before he lost his mind, he did save his daughter Princess Rose from falling into the hands of the cult by sending her away to study at the MIDGAR Royal SPELLSWORD Academy and hoping that she will one day become strong enough to save their nation. So with that, let's now go over her character. Before she attended the MIDGAR Academy, she was quite talented in many types of art forms such as painting, music, fashion, and acting. But she somehow became interested in swordsmanship instead, so she would receive disapproval from people around her. However, she did not care about what others think of her because the reason for her interest was mainly thanks to what she had experienced when she was kidnapped by a group of bandits. When the bandits were about to sell her off, she was saved by the stylish bandit slayer who was actually just a young psychopath Sid Kageno, and having witnessed the fight, she became captivated by the sight of his swordsmanship. This would cause Rose to be inspired, and out of admiration for his graceful swordsmanship, she made it her life's mission to replicate the same fighting style. That's why she also agreed to attend the MIDGAR Academy when her father sent her there because she wanted to improve her skills in swordsmanship. That said, because Rose has been training her swordsmanship since young, in terms of her abilities, she was considered to be the strongest Dark Knight in the school, losing only to Iris MIDGAR, but when Iris graduated, Rose became the undisputed champion. She also became the student council president thanks to her charismatic personality and strong sense of honor, earning the respect of many in the school. Additionally, Rose really respected the way of the sword, so she always admired those with a strong sense of determination, as evident during her first encounter with Sid during the school's fencing tournament. When she fought Sid, no matter how many times that she struck him down, he still got up every time, and Rose saw this as his unrelenting valor and she was utterly moved by his fighting spirit. She felt a great respect for Sid despite the fact that he wasn't even trying to impress her, instead he was just fulfilling another one of his delusional mob fantasies. So after the fencing tournament, terrorists from the cult who claimed to be from Shadow Garden attacked the school, and Rose was ready to not just defend herself but the other students as well. However, she failed to notice that her magic has been sealed off, so as she was about to be cut down, Sid intervened just in time to protect her, and she interpreted his sacrifice as a confession of love towards her. But in reality, it was another misunderstanding by Rose, and Sid being his typical delusional self. In any case, Rose along with the students were taken to the auditorium, but when magic was restored, she was quick to rally the other students in their counterattack. And even though most of her magic has not yet recovered, she could still take on multiple cult members, but eventually it became harder for her and the students to fight back. Fortunately for them, Shadow arrives with the real Shadow Garden to help defeat the cult members while Rose guided the students to safety. In the aftermath of the terrorist attack, Rose was relieved to find that Sid survived and confessed her love to him, which was quite a funny interaction. But moving on, Rose was invited to the Holy Land of Limworm to participate in the Goddess Festival, and she encountered Sid at the train station, so she invited him to join her. On the train, their interaction was again really funny, as Rose kept trying to show her affections for him, but Sid just kept distancing himself from her, even resorting to hiding on the ceiling. Anyways, once they arrived in Limworm, she showed him around the city before taking him to a book signing by the famous author Natsume Kafka, who was just better in her public disguise. They parted ways afterwards, and when the Goddess Festival started, Rose was in the VIP area with Princess Alexa Midgar, Natsume Kafka, and the acting Archbishop Nelson. Also, Rose apparently entered Sid in the Goddess trial without his knowledge, so to avoid fighting, Sid appeared as Shadow, which surprised everyone present. Rose then witnessed the battle between Shadow and the Wish of Calamity Aurora, but after the wish was defeated, the gate to the sanctuary was opened. Shadow Garden then appeared to take control of the gate and brought Natsume and Nelson into the sanctuary. Alexa followed after them, and out of concern for the princess and Natsume, Rose entered as well. Inside the sanctuary, Alpha allowed Rose and Alexia to follow them because she wanted to show the two princesses the truth about the Cult of Diablos, the three heroes, and the Demon Diablos. But not much happened afterwards, so Rose, Alexia, and Natsume were escorted outside, and after witnessing the destruction of the sanctuary by Shadow, Alexia suggested they work together to uncover the secrets behind the world, so the three women agreed, but their cooperation did not last long, as we'll soon see. Going back to the MIDGAR Kingdom, Rose was preparing for the upcoming BUSHIN festival because her father was attending, and this was a chance for her to prove herself. Also, after learning that she has to marry Perth Asad, she wanted to discuss it with her father, but the meeting was a disaster because she would discover that her father has been brainwashed by Perth to serve the cult. So out of impulse, Rose attempted to kill her fiancé, but she failed because she underestimated his strength. She became a fugitive and was forced to escape into the tunnel system under the MIDGAR Kingdom, and likely caused by the stressful situation, she started showing signs of demon possession as well. Now, as she went deeper into the tunnel system, she started to hear the melody of Moonlight Sonata, so she followed the tune into an abandoned cathedral where Shadow was playing the piano. After praising the beauty of his piano skills, Rose was offered the power to save her nation, and realizing that Shadow was the stylish bandit slayer, she accepted his offer. Thus, she would receive magic from him, and her demon possession was subsequently cured as well. So she made her way out the tunnel where she encountered Alexia and Natsume, but not wanting to involve them in her own issues, she decided to ignore them. However, she was stopped by Alexia, so both princesses started fighting, but having received powers from Shadow himself, Rose easily overwhelmed Alexia and she quickly left after getting a final send-off from Natsume. Later during the tournament, Rose was able to easily infiltrate the arena thanks to the intervention of Shadow Garden, so she proceeded to confront her father. After apologizing to her father, she killed him to ensure that her nation would not be a puppet for the cult, and she planned to commit suicide to avoid capture, but Shadow arrives to save her yet again, allowing her to escape. Once outside, she was approached by Alpha, who offered her a place in Shadow Garden, and wanting to save her people, Rose accepted the offer. Later, Rose was taken to Alexandria, the base of Shadow Garden, where her new life would begin, and she was given the name of number 666. Now, in the light novel, there wasn't much information on her experience after joining Shadow Garden, but in the game Master of Garden, there is a lot more information on her time there. Initially, when she joined, her skills were considered to be subpar and weak as compared to the average member. Although in terms of magic power, Rose outclasses a lot of people within the organization because she was one of the few individuals that received powers directly from Shadow himself. That's why Alpha saw the potential in Rose because she knew that Rose could one day rival the Seven Shadows if given proper training. However, Rose constantly struggled to find herself, being unable to fully embrace her new name as number 666, and she doubted her own motivations to fight, which hindered her training a lot. That's why LAMBDA was especially strict towards Rose and constantly pushed her so that she can realize her potential. In fact, LAMBDA had Rose spar with Nu right after she joined Shadow Garden, and I think it was quite brutal having her fight someone like Nu. Nevertheless, Rose was able to learn from her experience with LAMBDA and Nu, overcoming some of her weaknesses to become a competent member and showing tremendous growth within the organization. It was also implied that Sid knew Rose was staying in Alexandria, but it was unclear whether or not he knew she was an official member, so hopefully the game or anime will clarify this in the future. Having said that, after she was approved by LAMBDA, Rose was sent on her first field mission in the Lawless City along with her squad leader 664 and team member 665. They were led by Beta to research about demon possession and to acquire a sample of the progenitor blood. However, it seems like she still hasn't completely thrown away her past because after hearing that Sid has been kidnapped by vampires, she started getting flustered, but she was reprimanded by Beta afterwards. Anyways, they continued with their research, but when Claire Cagano was in trouble, their group came to help combat the newly awakened Vampire Queen Elizabeth, but the Vampire Queen was too powerful for them to handle even with help from Yukime and Juggernaut. Luckily, Shadow arrives just in time to help them, and using I Am Recovery Atomic, he took down Elizabeth while healing everyone in the process. After the Red Moon incident, Rose and the team was sent to investigate the circulation of counterfeit bills and locate the source. They managed to track down one of the transport wagons, but they encountered John Smith, the person that seems to be responsible for this. When they engaged the mysterious man in battle, only Rose noticed the magic-infused threads laid down by him, so she managed to avoid the trap. However, John Smith was too powerful, so Rose and the team were easily defeated by him. Of course, John Smith was actually Sid in disguise, so he did not really hurt Rose and the team, but they were forced to retreat. They would deliver their report back to Alpha, and afterwards, they were sent to the Oriana Kingdom for their next mission, which was requested by Victoria, who was also known as number 559. She apparently requested them in particular because Rose was familiar with the area and Victoria doubted Rose's capabilities and had wanted to test her. During the mission, they realized the cult has discovered the key to the Black Rose, so Victoria ordered them to attack, but because Rose's mother was present, she failed to follow orders and she was captured by the cult. So with her mother taken hostage, Rose was forced to marry Perth Asad, and while she was under house arrest, Zeta had come to find her. Again, she misunderstood the intentions of Sid, thinking that he became the apprentice of the pianist Chiron just to convince her to call off the wedding. In reality, Sid just wanted to know why Rose gave up her mission to retake the throne. Rose then lied to Sid and asked him to leave, but he quickly found out that she was being forced into the marriage, so he later returned as Shadow. He would bring Rose to save her mother, but when they discovered that her mother has been working with Perth all along, Rose was so traumatized that she fainted. I honestly feel bad for Rose. She was branded as a traitor by Shadow Garden. The people of Oriana hates her for killing her father and inciting a civil war, and her mother was smashing her fiancé. Nothing but else for the princess. Having said that, she would wake up to find Sid, and after being inspired by his words, she finally knew what she wanted to do. Also, she found a ring left behind by Sid, which was actually the key to the Black Rose, thinking that he wanted to propose to her, but he simply dropped it by accident. On the wedding day, Rose rejected Perth, and when she put the ring on, it revealed a recording of the king exposing the crimes of Perth and that the king has entrusted the kingdom to Rose. Having revealed the truth, Rose attacked Perth and defeated him, but soon the true mastermind appeared, Mordred the ninth seed in the Cauda Diablos. He eliminated Perth and the other witnesses before activating the Black Rose to unleash hordes of magical beasts to attack the citizens. Rose was able to deal with some of the magical beasts, but there were too many for her to handle. Luckily, Shadow along with Shadow Garden soon arrived to help, and the situation was now under control. Shadow easily defeated Ragnarok, and Rose was able to witness him destroying Mordred, but she was surprised when he along with Beta disappeared into the Black Rose. Now, during the period that Shadow disappeared, it seems that Rose was helped by Shadow Garden to expel the remaining presence of the cult, and she was crowned as the new queen of the Oriana Kingdom. However, because the cult was afraid of being exposed, they used their influence in the Holy Church to officially label the country as a heretic state, spinning the story that Rose is an evil queen that worked with Shadow Garden to steal the throne. Currently, only Shadow Garden and the people of the Oriana Kingdom knows the truth, but all the surrounding nations, including the MIDGAR Kingdom, has severed ties with the nation and trade with them has been cut off. Thus, they are now left in a vulnerable state with no allies, so Alpha proposed that Rose work with Shadow Garden by having the Oriana Kingdom stand against the Holy Church, acting as a proxy on the surface while Shadow Garden continues to fight the Cauda Diablos behind the scenes. Despite questioning her own abilities to lead, Rose agreed to Alpha's conditions, so Alpha would leave numbers 664 and 665 to provide Rose with support. So yeah, Rose is definitely a very deep and intriguing character. Her journey was full of hardship and it was quite tragic, but despite everything, I love how she still persevered. I definitely can't wait to see how she'll work with Shadow Garden to fight against the cult in future volumes. And from the moment she met Sid, it has been nothing but misunderstandings between them, which is honestly just entertaining to watch. Also, I'm not sure if this was intentional, but her number being 666 and the fact that the cult branded her as an evil queen who stole the throne just seems like such a cool detail. So aside from the 7 shadows, I personally think that Rose Oriana is definitely a good contender for best girl, but what do you think?
あの時私は運命を感じました。シド君、あなたこそが。
Anyways, that's pretty much everything we know about Rose so far, and she doesn't really have many examples of combat, but her biggest trait is definitely her personality as a character. So what do you think of Rose overall, and do you like her character? I would love to hear your opinions on her in the comments down below, and who else would you like me to cover? Also, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification button for more anime content like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe everyone.